We have a wonderful young person that's here today to share some things.
I'm younger than that.
A little. Perri, Johannaber. I practiced saying it.
Johannaber.
Huh?
Johannaber.
Johannaber. Okay. Got that? Okay. She is the firstborn daughter of Gail and Roger Davis. And she graduated from Furman University with a degree in art and business. And she has lived in Atlanta area and worked here for all her life so far. And she is now a national account manager for Ryder Transportation. And what's really interesting is she got this job through job networking and has participated in job networking as a recruiter for Ryder and is also a speaker for the spiritual element of the program and whatever else they might need. She has several awards for her art. The entries at the gallery down at the church, and she has been on a variety of mission trips, Katrina, youth trips, and the Lunches for Learning Honduras trip 3 times with lots of folks from our class that have gone down there. Perri has 2 adult children, Luke and Heather, and they live in the area. And and a wonderful husband, Fred, and their combined families of children and grandchildren. She loves to paint, do creative projects. She enjoys hiking and tennis and photography, Bible study, socializing with the friends and family, and most of all, her faith walk in Jesus. Perri, come join us.
Thank you so much.
One of our pictures is in our book, in the history, one of Perry's pictures.
Martha just said a few of my artwork pieces are in the new Roswell history book, so that's kind of cool for me too. Thank you. All right, how many of you guys have been in this class or in the church since the 80s? Raise your hand. All right, pretty much a majority. And if you haven't, welcome, thank you, because probably, we all think the 80s was, what, 20 years ago? I think it was a little bit longer than that ago. But since then, a lot of you have been praying for me, for my family, so I really appreciate that. And I've been here before, so if you guys don't know me, please come after class to come meet me, because I would love to just welcome you, because this class has supported me for a long time in my Christian faith and a lot of my activities and with my family and with lots that goes on in my family, so I appreciate that. So thanks for having me today. And Hugh's got my slide presentation. I have a lot. But what's really cool is that I have loved growing up, having my family grow up in this church. I actually grew up in New Jersey, so I got some of that Jersey Springsteen, that accent's kind of wavered in the Southland for all this time, but that helps me with my job because I am national, so I work with all the accents across the country with Ryder. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, I heard you had a really cool speaker last week, and I'm so sorry Shaw's not here, because I told Shaw that I would say my topic today is keep the main thing the main thing. And he's like, that's what we did. I'm like, I'm just joking. I know that was Jim. But the main thing is always Jesus, right? It's always our spiritual walk, what we can do to serve. I'm going to share a little bit about how we served and how you guys have served so many years through the Lunches for Learning program, kind of a little tale follow up to Phil Dotson that was here recently, but also all the other ways you guys can serve. So it's kind of a 2-parter. So hang in there for all of that too. The So how this started was mom and dad have been going to many mission trips internationally outside the country. Well, when they went to Peru, I forget, I think it was like 2013 or 14, they both got pretty sick, really sick. So I decided, as their daughter, I'm now the parent, you can't go outside the country anymore. You have to stay in the continental US if you want to do mission trips. You're not allowed to. Next thing I know, they're signed up for Honduras. That's not in the United States, everybody. Just, I mean, I'm a geographically challenged, but no. So long story short, Craig and Catherine Simons, next thing I know, I'm signed up for Honduras to go with them. So they're not off the list, I'm on the list. So ends up 3 years we went to the same place, Los Tablas, in the remote part of South Honduras. And pictures say a lot, right? So I think having pictures for everything that we do is really important. 3 different times CUC people also went on these trips. So it's kind of cool because you guys are very involved, not just in physically going, but financially going, doing a lot donations and praying. So it's kind of a cool thing to get to talk to you guys about all you've done and all you that you continue to do, because you honestly have left a legacy. So this is packing for Honduras is interesting because you're there for 5 days, but you're not sure what to bring the first time around. Suitcases were way too much and too big, but a lot of those are packed with supplies and a lot of those stayed there. So just to give you a feel of, we weren't luxury having a vacation here. So if you want to go to the next slide. And you probably recognize, there's Sandy and Bill Martin and the Craig and Catherine, a few other people. So I wanted to do acts of kindness verses because, of course, we all love our Bible and we're following God and Jesus. And when you think about the verses that are all throughout our Bible about how God wants us to serve and how Jesus saved us and served and showed by example. So, I don't want to read through all these, but I put them up on the screen and I actually have a little giveaway for you guys later. But I wanted to prove that the reason we do a lot that we do when we serve in any capacity is we're using our spiritual gifts for God, for really trying to serve others just like Jesus did, because the more we can give away our spiritual journey and more we give away our faith, the more we're doing his kingdom work on earth, right? So and of course, we're so spoiled with having Google, you can just Google acts of kindness verses, boom, we have concordance in the back of our Bible, or if we're very familiar, you can find them on your own, but kind of cheated a little bit there. So I'll give these to you guys later if you want a copy, but I really wanted to point out that a lot of this is how we feel about missions, whether missions are locally and international and across our United States. The other thing is I've always wanted to do is on top of your door frames is just put entering the missions field. Because no matter where you go, you are the missions field to anybody you meet. And that is something we should all realize in the grocery store, in the checkout counter, in traffic. We are in the mission field all the time, not just in another country. So whether you've gone another country or not, you're in the mission field everywhere you go. So just you could probably even put it up in your house too. But that's been important to me. And that's something that I realize I'm an example, good or bad, wherever I go. So I think there's one more slide of verses.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then 1 Peter 4:10 and 11 is one of my favorites because it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Be fervent in spirit and serve the Lord. I mean, bottom line, that's what we're supposed to do, right? So I like that one. And then one of the other ones that I thought was really good is, let's see. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, he will reward them for what they have done. In Matthew 5, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your God in heaven. Okay, next slide. So, props to the CUC class. You guys collected for at least the 3 years I went, and probably a lot more trips that Craig and Catherine did and Phil Dotson did. But man, you guys came to the plate with school supplies and tennis balls and toiletries and makeup bags and clothing. I know Mom had a lot to do with having kind of a marketplace for the women, because we focused a lot on the children, on vacation Bible school lessons and teaching them about Jesus. But we decided we don't leave, well, you don't want to leave out the moms who are preparing the meals for lunches for learning for the kids. And we don't really want to leave out the dads. I think you guys also donated some men's socks and belts and some hats and clothing. So this is just a little tiny trinket of some of the photos. Tons of stuff came in. That's why we needed those big suitcases. So you know, the next slide. Then Mom had everybody come over on the ping pong table and start organizing, because you got to cram them into those suitcases and you got to get them into little bags and get those lessons prepared. So time is another way to serve. And boy, that's a lot of time. So you can see some more Roswell members there in those class and CUC. I just kind of wanted to show an example of, this is probably a higher scale home because they actually have chickens and a clothesline and a house. There's no, it's dirt floor. There's not a lot of electricity. There's no plumbing. There's nothing in these areas. And we kind of forget that because we live here, but it's pretty bad over there. And they don't have trash pickup. There's trash everywhere. Doesn't smell so good. They don't pick it up because where are they going to take it? There were some great families that fed us. We had, like I said, beans and tostados and eggs and some fruit for breakfast in the mornings. We don't look hot, we're hot. It is hot in Honduras. It is really hot. You can go to the next slide. The first time we went, I don't call that thing a road. That was not a road. That was boulders. It was a back of a pickup truck. Most of the guys had to sit in the back. I remember me and Mom and about 4 other women were crammed into the cab, and you're bumping your head on the side and you're bumping each other and you're laughing because you're like, this is how we're getting, we don't even know where we're going. They did eventually make some roads, and Phil talked about that, and they had a school bus and they brought us over there. But the first trip was very bumpy. And luckily,
And sometimes it rains when you're in the back of that pickup.
it rains. It rains. We got soaked. Yep. The men got soaked the most because they were in the back. They took the hit for the women. Yep. So that's one of the transportation ways we got there. If you want to go to the next one. So the welcome committee, and this is actually the second time around we went, because the first time, and a lot of Catholic schools and churches donate uniforms. So these kids are getting these white blouses and blue skirts and pants from donations. This is the second time, because when they saw us and recognized we had come back again to help them, we were smothered and covered like Waffle House in hugs and love of those kids saying, you cared, like, I recognize you, I see you, and you came back. And so this was such a blessing. And I want to tell you something else. You feel like you're going there to serve, and you're doing blood, sweat, and tears and working hard. I feel selfishly so blessed for doing that. Like, God abundantly blessed me for being there and changing my life. So this was pretty cool because it was really like they want us. So next one, thanks to you. All right, this is the place we went. There was 4 tiny little schoolhouses for all the kids. There's the outhouses in the back had no doors. So you think about the girls and going through puberty. It's not fun. So we built doors so that they could have a little privacy when they went to the bathroom. There's no water. The kids don't drink all day long. And sad. And so we were almost, embarrassed having our water bottles because we need to be hydrated in a country we're not used to. And the other thing about this, there is no electricity. And a lot of those kids walk miles and miles to get there because they have heard Lunches for Learning is going to give them a meal. And that might be their only meal of the day. So they're going to go to school so that they can eat. So it's humbling. It really is. You can go to the next slide. Craig, Simon's got an eye doctor to come out. So the first time we went, we did eye screenings on the children and the parents. And I don't think 100 people were given glasses. We had all kinds of donations. Fabulous having you guys know people who can get donations like that. We had all different prescriptions. One of my favorite stories is Dad kind of getting them all organized because we don't speak Spanish. We have translators, but we were all kind of like we only had maybe 2 or 3 translators and a lot of us, so we all needed them. So you just kind of use body gestures and charades to try to figure it out. But Dad was getting everybody line up and move down a chair to get in line. So that was pretty cool too. And then I'm painting murals. That was my job I think all 3 times is paint because I'm an artist. So they wanted to liven the place up a little. And you think, well, how is that serving God? That's what they wanted. You do what they want, you know? And it was really fun. And I got the kids to get involved. This kind of overhang shade thing was there the second time we went. They built that for us because we can't take the heat and the sun. And what a gesture of God for them to do that because they want us there because we needed it, trust me. So that gives you a little more perspective. And then this is some of the moms making the lunches for learning, making the little milk stuff and tostados so they could eat and some bean paste. And then there's mom had put together the marketplace. So we had kind of a raffle where they got to pick a number and go pick out a blouse and a skirt and a hat or a scarf. It was really pretty cool. You can turn the next one. There's the men working, making rebar because we were building a kitchen on the campus. So again, thank goodness for that shade a little bit and standing there all day long. There's, you take a little bit of a break and you maybe have a little bit to eat, a little bit of water, but there's our guys, there's your Sunday school class doing that. You can go to the next one. It's a mess and it's hot and it's hard work and it's heavy rocks, but there's Bill.
Scott.
Yep, right there, all sweaty. I kept telling him, keep your shirt on, but I don't want to see that. But yeah, it was amazing. I just wanted you to get a perspective of what was going on there. Little boy wants to help Dad with the wheelbarrow, so we got him involved. We also built a sidewalk because from the road to the classrooms in the rainy season, just they are this deep in mud and water. So we wanted the kids to have at least clean feet to go to their school. So, and the local guys helped us with the cement and the rock. So they're not like sitting back and watching us, they're helping us help them. So that was really cool. So that was kind of the red ribbon of the sidewalk for that picture. Here's some of the students, and we brought beach balls. Catherine's teaching and Sandy's teaching, and we're inside. There's a couple little murals in the background. But this again was the second trip where they were more engaged. They were a little shy and timid the first time around, then they got more engaged there. Okay. And we did VBS a lot. There's the uniforms I was telling you guys about, and they felt the kids were so cool because they felt it was important to dress up for us. I mean, it was really sweet. So, and I don't know how they keep them white, but they were there. All right. Next one. All right, this is the pants story. So I was wearing my work pants and I don't speak Spanish and I was really having trouble and I was sitting down with them trying to learn their names and try to put a name in their face. And I'm sorry, I don't even know all you guys' names. I'm terrible with names. So I decided I'm gonna let this one little girl, because she just kept saying her name. So I gave her a pen and said, write it on my pants. Just write your name on my pants. So next thing I know, I have a line of kids to write on my pants to tell me their name. And all day they would come up to me and I would be like, where's your name on my pants so I can try to pronounce your name. And they thought you are one crazy loco American, but we all want to participate. And I think that personalized it for them a little bit too. That was just out of the blue. That was a God idea and it was fun. So that's my pants story of all these names. And of course I couldn't wash them the rest of the time I was there. Not that we were doing laundry, but I had to wear them every day so they could point out their name. They were sweaty. All right. some of their transportation, they crowd all into the back of a truck on those bumpy roads, or they're riding a little horse, or they're walking all those miles. There's dad eating, there's a dinner, a piece of fish. I didn't really care for that, but, and then those cows are skin and bones, but, you know, we take for granted that we can throw a chicken wing away with a little bit of meat on it, and you just think about that. It's humbling. Next one. All right, this is the third trip, and now they know I'm an artist, so the teachers want a mural. They want a big, colorful mural of animals. And so I was like, okay, I can do that, but I only have like 2.5 days because we are cranking through these 5-day trips, and some of it's travel and getting back and forth and being safe. So I had a Sharpie. I didn't have a whole lot of supplies, but, and you probably can't see, but with a Sharpie that I wore it down to the nub, I drew just cartoon animals on the wall. And then we went over to the paint store in the little tiny town where we were staying. And I'm like, okay, I need red and blue and yellow and green and orange. We have white and we have brown. Like, what? God, what are you doing? Where's the paint? Like, this is for you and you're whatever. All right, I'll take white and brown. Now, this time, the first time kids were watching through the windows, this time they all wanted to help. So we had some cups and we had the paint, and I just kind of did a paint by number. So I mixed a tint, here's white, here's brown, and here's like 10 colors in between, and with white and brown. So you want to show the next, I mean, what do you do, right? You got to be creative. So here are the kids helping paint. It was so much fun. And I think they called me Petty. They couldn't say Perry for whatever reason. So, and I'm getting topped all day long because they want to know what color. They want to do it right. It doesn't matter, but I had to say, okay, white goes here, and light brown goes here, and dark brown goes here. But it was so engaging, and she was wearing my shirt. They wanted, once you have your shirt, like if you have any extra clothes, you're leaving them there for them anyway. She didn't want to get her white shirt dirty, so I gave her my extra shirt and my backpack. So here they are painting. You want to do the next one? And there's the final result. So you make 2 colors work because you have to, right? And they were so excited. They don't smile a lot for pictures, but they really had a good time. So, and they owned it. So it's theirs and they're proud of it. And the teachers were amazed that I had 2 colors of paint and we came up with this. So that was kind of something fun that God made us figure out together. So you can change it. This is one of the last days of one of the trips that a family housed us before we went back to the airport, because it's about 6.5 hour drive from the airport to where we stay, and then another hour to the village that we helped. So it's a long travel day. So we had to get closer to the airport so we could come back home. And they wanted to wash our feet like Jesus. That was very spiritual and very emotional and humbling, and we didn't really want them to. But, you know, you give somebody grace, and when somebody wants to serve, you let them serve. So having your feet washed by people who have nothing is, again, something I hope you can feel in your heart is truly a Jesus thing. The Holy Spirit was so present in that room. It's just amazing. So maybe the next one. So couple of things. This, when people place everything in God's hands, they will see God's hands in everything. That was a quote that one of the teachers who was learning English, because he wanted to better his family, and we want them all to go to have an education so that they can kind of help their family situation, the dynamics of the economics there. But he came up with that quote and wanted to put it in one of the murals on the outside of the wall, because that is so true. And I'm like, you don't have to be like a scholar or an author or writer to come up with something so profound. So I've kept that and shared that a lot because I think that's just absolutely a fact and a statement. This tree, it's hard to tell because we're not standing under it, but it was huge and we passed it on every trip. But it looks like it's growing out of that rock. There looks like there's no dirt, no water, no soil, no nutrients. And you just think God can do anything. God is miracles. And you look at something like, how is that happening? And I just feel like that was, to me, another statement of God, just like, you're leaving a legacy. This class, everything you guys did to get us there, to donate the supplies that the kids loved and cherished and enjoyed, and there was beads and sports things and clothing and everything. It's God at work, and he can do things beyond our comprehension. So that was beyond my comprehension to see that tree. So I had to share that too. Um, do I have any more? Am I at the end of my slides? Oh, okay. So these are real people with big needs, no lifestyle like us, but you can see some of those faces and smiles, and they have a faith. They do believe in Jesus. Now we did have to participate in a program for us at one time. I think it was about 3 hours, 4 hours. You know, church for them is long, 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 and we didn't understand what they were saying, but they were trying to honor us and have it for us. So you just sit there, and Dad was covered in children sitting all over him, and it was just really so cool. But God is everywhere, and you guys have helped make this totally a legacy for these families, for these people. And I'm hoping someday to get Fred there. Fred hasn't been yet. And I was talking to Craig this morning. So, and he's like, oh, God's got you. If you want to go, God's going to get you there. So it'll happen. But again, I wanted to say that Craig had a spark a lot years ago about this program. Phil Dodson has taken over, but you guys jumped right on that spark and made it a flame and made it a bonfire for this group of people that just needed our presence, needed to see the faith, needed the help to serve and to build and to be there and to love on them. And just I love the smiles, the children. I ended up from working the whole first trip like nonstop. Just I was there to work, and that's in my blood. We don't stand around. We work, 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 and then we go home. The real lesson was these faces. The third trip, I'm playing. I'm down in the dirt. I'm making up games. I can't speak Spanish, so I'm doing all Simon Says and merry-go-round and whatever, just because they want the presence of who I am. So it's not about stuff, even though we brought a lot of stuff and we needed stuff and they did, it was about the relationships. And you guys have built that through everything you did for these kids, for these families, for this program. So thank you with all my heart. And again, feel the blessing, because you truly have a gem in your crown for everything, for these and whatever you're doing in your life too. So is that my last slide? I can't remember. Oh, I think this one's love like Jesus, connect. This is playing the games and stuff and really being entrenched in the families. And I said at the beginning of the lesson that I wanted it to be kind of a two-parter. And I feel like, okay, so I'm in your generation. I always feel like I am, even though I feel like I just graduated from college. And I feel like we all have a purpose and we all have a plan, no matter what age we are. We can't just sideline it because we're almost to heaven. Acts of kindness, that's what I was focusing on today. And even if Honduras doesn't hit your heart like it did mine, and the Lunches for Learning always says, what breaks your heart? And I know Tom has used it, and Mike, just what breaks your heart, whatever that is, God's calling you to that, and don't ignore the Holy Spirit's voice inside of you, what's breaking your heart. And for me, it was Honduras and these acts of kindness. However, the older we get, the less we can do what we used to be able to do, right? We all kind of know that, and it's a little just different lifestyle, and God ages us beautifully, but actively it's a little bit different. But I'm like, that is no excuse for anyone in this room or for me. So I have this fun little thing that I came up with, and of course, it's you guys can probably think outside the box, and I challenge you to give me some more ideas back, but it's called an acts of kindness to-do list. Hold a door open for someone. Donate $10 to a charity that you believe in. Leave a positive review for a restaurant. Write a thank you note to someone who has inspired you. Donate household items. Give an extra generous tip. Pick up litter and throw it away. Create a care package for a neighbor or a college student or someone lonely. Let somebody go first in line, because we're all in a hurry, especially me. Give a teacher a thank you. compliment a stranger, which is an experiment that I've tried with my youth group girls. I still teach youth group, and I challenge them every week. I'm like, because I'm standing in line at the dollar store, I'm like, and be genuine, but I'm like, I really love that dress. Like, that's so pretty. You shock the heck out of strangers, first of all. And then the second thing is the smile that you get in return is such a gift. And then they're like, well, thank you. Like, they may have just needed someone to make eye contact, right? That one's a big one for me, is just being polite to everybody around me and trying to challenge myself to be, you go first, or let me get that for you, or you're so nice. Thank you for holding the door for me. All those little compliments are just amazing. So that's when I always challenge everybody. Just give a compliment. Bake cookies for someone. Give clothes to foster care. Rachel needs everything and anything you can give. She just always needs clothes for those families. Offer to return someone's grocery cart. And even the look on those faces, they're like, what? It's right there. I'm like, I'll do it for you. It's just fun. Send a kind and encouraging text. When we have phones, we can do that. Call an old friend out of the blue. Buy a warm meal for someone in need. Buy groceries for the person behind you, or Chick-fil-A for the person behind you, or coffee for the next Starbucks person. Share a positive quote. Go out of your way to remind someone that everything will be okay. And make a prayer list and pray for specific people. But not only that, tell them that you prayed for them. Just another thing I told my kids is, Holy Spirit, if you let it, it is loud and clear. And if you listen and I'm probably a little crazy, but if you listen in a way where if the Holy Spirit, and that's what I don't say it's my mind or my heart or my psyche, if a name comes into my head and into my being, that's the Holy Spirit. I am supposed to call them or write to them or send a text or a little card in the mail or pray for them. There's a reason God put that person, and you're never going to know unless you act on it, that they needed to hear from you, or they needed somebody, or they just wanted to talk or laugh or share or cry. So don't ignore the calling. I mean, we're all capable. So I have made a bunch of these, so everybody gets to go home with a to-do list. I give you homework. Sorry, you're not too old for homework. But it's just so important to us to continue to live Jesus every day until we are in our kingdom of heaven. And I always joke around, you guys are going to be living like right next to the pearly gates. I'm going to be probably way down on the other side of the tracks, but I'm going to be in heaven. Okay. But just continue to flow through Jesus and be God. And Jesus makes my life better and makes me better at life. And if I don't give him away, I'm not doing my role on earth for him. And so I'm just going to do it. I'm not good every day. I fail a lot too, but I'm telling you, like these to-do lists, I'm going to put one up on my mirror too, and on my doorway on my way out to the car, to my life, because we don't want to just pray and then do life. We want to be with Jesus all day long, every minute. So do me a favor, pray for these beautiful families and children. I mean, you can see the joy on our faces because it was just such a blessing, even though we were hot and sweaty and tired. It was so cool to be there. You guys made a lot of it happen with the supplies and the prayers and the financial donations. So continue to do that for lunches, for learning too. And then just go be Jesus everywhere you go. And if we fail, he forgives us. He gives us another chance. So we are not down and out. We are ready to hit the road one more time, move on. Don't dwell in all of that stuff. The flip side is if you're sad or lonely or tired or need somebody, reach out, because sometimes people don't know. And I've been humbled to do better at that myself. Like I just need somebody to listen, or I need to cry with somebody, or I need to just say, I'm wiped out and I'm stressed or I'm sad or whatever it is. So, and the last one is just have grace. If somebody wants to help you, let them, because don't take their gift of serving away, right? Like sometimes if somebody wants to take my cart or let me go first, just be genuinely thankful and just let them do that, because it is such a blessing both ways. I feel selfishly blessed a lot of time because it's like, I can't wait to like make them smile. I'm so challenged to get somebody a little bit happier. So yeah, that's my lesson. I don't want to go too much over time, but I just want to thank you guys so much for having me here today. Hopefully you'll pick these up, and I probably have plenty. So if you need an extra one for someone you know that needs an act of kindness to-do list, please take one. I can also share like the PowerPoint or something, and you guys can make as many copies as you want, because there's never enough kindness to go around, and never enough ways to share our faith with Jesus. I'm so blessed that mom and dad gave me my faith. They gave me my foundation. Then I had to earn it myself and accept him, Jesus, as my savior myself. Give it to my kids, hopefully, keep working on that. And to my wonderful husband, who's not here today, thought he would make me nervous, but I can talk all day long and not be nervous. But just like we're just so blessed and grateful and thankful. And I just want to tell you guys how much I appreciate you and thank you for all the prayers my whole life, because you have made a difference in my life and mom and dad's life. And this church is like so incredible. We have all these opportunities, so we have no excuse to not take advantage. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Perri, I want to give you a compliment on your son Luke. We had him in second or third grade.
Yes.
School, if you know that. Okay, I taught.
So you wanna get up there?
to turn it up for the.
Yeah, get it up. Thank you.
Okay, we had Luke in Sunday school. I have been a public school teacher, first and third grades. I taught preschool for 18 years over at the Presbyterian preschool. We've done Sunday school for many years. Luke was the only one that ever asked me for more worksheets. I give worksheets, when they're done with their work or when they first came in. Mrs. Gardner, do you have any more of those worksheets for me? How about that?
This was, okay, Luke is 31. He is in a church with his wife. He's in a small group. He's in a Bible study. He is a prayer warrior. So there's your legacy right there. There's another example of how you guys make a difference. So
More?
now, if you only had Heather, my daughter, we're still working on her, but prayer works. I promise it does. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys today. I'm gonna, and for you guys that are on Zoom, we got copies. We'll have these around for you, but I'll pass these around. Please take one, even if you want to throw it away later. Just read it, take it, because you have homework.
That was special. I was in Roswell Rotary for many years. And Roswell Rotary is connected with Phil and Lunches for Learning and the Honduras for many years. They have been connected.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking, when you think of something, you should say it. I was thinking that if you have a server, a waitress, somebody who's serving you and waiting on you, remember, they're not there just to pass the time of day or because they don't have anything else to do. They're there to make a living for their family. And just always, I don't know why that, just because I had so many ladies and gentlemen that worked for me, that they were doing dual work. They were working as waitresses somewhere else. They'd leave that and come to the church and work, or come to Roswell Rotary and work. That wasn't the only job they had. It was a survival type jobs. So always remember those servers and the grocery people. Hey, just remember them, that in a kind way. Everybody have a great, let's see. Yeah, I've got one that I forgot to. Yeah, come on.
Just quickly, there was some interest indicated in the note cards by Bill. There was some interest indicated in the note cards by Bill Needs as a sketch artist. And there's a couple sets displayed back there on the table. If you're interested, just place it on the order form and I'll bring them next Sunday. And there's 4 cards for $10. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody have a wonderful week, and remember to call someone or speak to someone at the grocery store. Thank you.